Hello,
All
Coach.
right.
I see you checked in here.
How we doing? Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late, guys. Just got off the field, sweaty, dirty, and good to be with. Good. Let me back my camera up here. How about what are we going to do after games, EJ?
You're looking at it, Coach. We're going to do it virtually.
Are you kidding me? Okay, maybe someone will come. Again, I don't know what number practice it was today, but we had another good one. After having Sunday we had a kind of small little walkthrough practice and a good scrimmage on Saturday. Coming out of the scrimmage, the offense got beat by 2 points, but after further review, the head coach blew the whistle a little too early on the quarterback. I thought, trying to protect the quarterback. It was a busted coverage and the offense scored, but during the scrimmage, I didn't give him that touchdown. It was actually Jalen Barton who caught the touchdown, but after further review, I had to give it to the offense. And that was a touchdown. And again, you can't have busted coverage regardless. You can't count on it getting a sack every down. So the offense really got the win in the scrimmage. It was a battle. We had a good scrimmage. I forgot to write down the number of plays we had, but probably a little less than we had last week, whatever that number was. Probably 100, 110 total plays. And came out of it pretty darn healthy. So that's the main thing when you come out of that second scrimmage, which is really the last scrimmage. We'll have a rehearsal scrimmage this weekend as we prepare. We had a nice physical, normal Tuesday game week practice today, and we're having fun. Got a couple just quick updates, just roster moves, roster changes. We've got a new scholarship receiver that we brought in, grad transfer from the University of Maryland, a young man by the name of DJ Turner. He's played a lot of football at Maryland. The recruitment actually begun with, I got a phone call from one of my old players, and I'm sure he didn't have my number, but he had the same number he had at the University of Rhode Island back in the day, back in the 90s, because I never delete any of my players. I always talk about relationships. I never delete any of my players' numbers. So I still had a kid named Mark Hayes, one of my defensive tackles. I recruited him out of DeMatha High School. He calls me and says, I got a brother, and he didn't put his name on the phone message, but he says, I got a brother that's interested in transferring from Maryland. And I'm like, so I really, didn't know much, but, kid's name's Mark Hayes, and, his nickname was Baby Hayes. So when he answered the phone, I'm like, hey, Baby Hayes, what's up? Because he had this big baby face. He was a D-tackle, good football player. So DJ Turner's his brother. That's kind of how the thing got started. And obviously he's a grad transfer and he's immediately eligible. So we're happy to have him. And we also put two seniors on scholarship today. The first one, Jake Zelinskis, was put on scholarship today. He's had a great fall camp. Some people might say, oh, you gave it to him. He's a senior. No, I didn't give it to him. That young man earned every dime, every penny of it. He worked his tail off. He had an unbelievable catch in the end zone in the scrimmage for a touchdown in the red zone. And I told him it wasn't because of that one catch. It's more all the little things he's playing. He's playing a little receiver, a little fullback. But this guy's been outstanding for years. He's been banged up a little bit. Came in, was a quarterback in high school with his dad. And really on scout team, the guy did everything. And, we don't really talk much about the scout team players, but this guy do everything. Play quarterback, play tight end, play fullback, play tailback, play receiver when we needed a big receiver to go against. And you always noticed him there. He wasn't playing on our offense, but you always noticed him. He's just a football player. And like I said, sometimes, it takes a little longer than others to get things going, but we really like where he's at. And then the other guy's John Patrician, who came a year ago from a different school in the state and came as a walk-on, never complained like, I'm a scholarship player there. I want to come as a scholarship. No. So he walked on and he's earned a scholarship. He's, right now he's the number 2 guy behind Cam Bright at the star position, and he's getting better. I think I mentioned to him a couple weeks ago, just as far as position change, and he's really picked it up well. He gives us more athleticism with the outside linebacker, with all the spread offenses we see. It's really going to help us. So those are kind of just some tidbits as far as, our football team, our practices, and our players. Questions? Who's got the first question? Jerry? Jerry got a haircut. Maybe he'll vote good. Jeez, Pete. Can't hear you, Jerry.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, you sound better than EJ does.
EJ.
I have a question. I have a question.
Every morning we get a teamwork sheet. He's got to fill it out. It's got to be no, no, no. EJ can't stay healthy. He's got those 2 little kids that are always passing something around probably. I'm lucky my kids are old.
Pat, I was wondering, in all your conversations and your discussions with your players over the past several weeks, are they planning any kind of any social message, for the opener, maybe pregame or in any game this season?
Well, what do you mean social message? Say that again?
Is there are any of your players planning any kind of a social message before the game on next Saturday? Are they planning to do anything, considering the times we're in and the things that are going on socially around the United States?
Yeah, again, I'm guessing you're talking about a protest or something, Jerry.
Not necessarily a protest, just some kind of a movement.
Yeah, movement. We talk all the time about situations like that, and there'll be a time and a place. Again, right now it's not time to go protest or do a movement and get out. We're just trying to protect our bubble. But we certainly have plans for something on our helmet. I think for game day is again we're a little over a week and a half out. I believe we have about a 4:00 game time. EJ, is that correct? I don't know if that's been announced yet, but I heard as I was walking in the door, 4:00 game time. So we'll have something at game time. And again, it's getting close. I wish I had an answer already as far as what we're going to do just as a football team. And I want to be unified as a team and have one thing, one message. But we'll have something, whether it's from the NCAA, the ACC, or Pitt. If they can't make a decision real quick, I'm a pretty good artist. I'll draw something up for our uniforms, for our helmet. But, so that's really all we have planned right now. But you know what? We take it day by day, Jared. We're not making, we don't have it on a calendar. It's, if things start to change and our kids start to have, different ideas, then, I'm going to support them 100%.
Hey, Pat, you mentioned it's a week and a half out. Does it feel like the urgency is there with the guys that football is going to start here in a few days?
Yeah, it does. I think, you get a little wake-up call when you watch Saturday night, 9 o'clock, watch some ball, and, it's like, well, they're going out, we're going out. And I really felt good for the last week, to be honest with you. I think I really felt better since the NCAA said, hey, listen, it's I don't want to say the golden ticket, but a free year for these guys. There's not as many questions and what's going to happen if I do go play 2 games. What if I play 1 game? So I think that cleared a lot of things up, made our kids feel a little bit, better about, really the whole situation here in 2020 and in this Corona year that we have. So, but the urgency is there. I see it in practice. I just see it in meetings. We kind of gave them an introduction today. So we did some Austin P parties today, periods, I should say, parties, periods, P periods. That's kind of hard to say, isn't it? I see Kelly's laughing over at me. So we did some of those periods today, and we're working on the depth chart and kind of who they are, what they do, and so preparation has begun.
Pat, is DJ Turner with you guys now? Has he practiced with you guys? What's that process been like?
I want to say he got here Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. I'm not sure. Maybe it was real early in the morning, but he practiced with us today for the first time. So I didn't want to, say anything until I knew he was on the field. So today was his first practice. He just got into school, I think at 4:00 yesterday afternoon. He got enrolled, so we couldn't do anything until he was actually enrolled in class. So he's here, and he looked really good out on the field today. And again, Coach Beatty also coached him in the past. And, Coach Beatty's got such a great relationship with Coach Loxley over there. He really didn't want to have anything to do with it. He really didn't have it because it was in at B&B with my man Marquez. But, he knows Coach Beatty's drills. That kind of hit me when we were out on the field. Like, you kind of know his individual drills. Like 3 years of it, he got him down. So he's kind of knows his individual. So it's a little bit better transition as far as just the individual and knowing how Coach Beatty coaches. The transition is easier there. Now, the offensive scheme and the play calls and the formation names and all that, he's got to learn some offense. But after day one, I'm going, this guy's really smart too.
Do you think he's a guy who can make an impact in week one, or are you thinking it might take until, say, October to get him into the flow of things?
Week one, from what I saw today, I think he'll help us right now.
Which receiver position do you have him working at?
X, Y, Z, P, Q, whatever. I mean, I don't know. He can play them all, I think. He's got legs bigger than mine. I can tell you that. This dude's big.
Pat, maybe I missed it. Did you?
You probably missed it.
What he has?
Say it again.
How many years of eligibility does DJ Turner have? I mean, maybe
He's a graduate transfer. He's got 1 season left.
fine.
And
Okay,
that's
thank
kind of what, Coach Loxley was good. I talked to Coach Loxley. He was good. He's like, listen, we're not playing. And, he wants to get and play as, that next year. And Coach Lox understood, and, like most coaches would.
With Jake, obviously he came in 3 years ago, and he's changed positions a few times with you guys. What has kind of his attitude and approach been over the last 3 years with just him coming in and trying to, take a role?
He loves football, and, there's a difference between guys that love it and like it. And like, he was a linebacker at one time. He was a tight end. He's been a fullback. He's, obviously back on the offense side of the ball, but he's done a little bit of everything, and he's done anything for us wherever we've needed. He loves the game of football. I'd anticipate him probably being a coach someday. But he's had an incredible attitude for these 4 years, these 4 camps he's been through. And it's not easy. Not many walk-ons make it to their senior year. They kind of give up. We're lucky to have 2 of them here this year, but it's not easy to do. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of sacrifices that his family's made for him to be here and do what he's done. So,
Pat, when you think back to when you first got him, I mean, he was a quarterback. You've had a lot of success though with guys that were walk-ons that maybe didn't end up playing the role that they thought they were going to play, or you play them a lot on special teams. Is there something beyond just what they show on the football field that you look for in those guys that you think, well, here's something I can work with? Maybe he's never going to be our starting quarterback, but there's something here that I can turn into a football player?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, there's so many other intangibles besides just that, but, it's the persistence that he's had that's kept him on the field, okay? Because he could have walked away a year ago and then never got to this point. After practice, he thanked me again. He's like, this is the best day of my life. I don't think his parents even know. He tried to call him before practice. They're out in Arizona now. Dad retired, and I think they moved out there and bought a home. So they may be still sleeping, but congratulations to them as well.
Pat, what were you able to learn watching Austin Peay on Saturday? What were your impressions?
You know what? Obviously, I think they're very athletic. I think they fly around, play hard. Koza, their defense coordinator is, he wasn't born when I was at Yale, and my dad coached with Carm Koza, his grandfather. So I've known about him for a long time. We've exchanged, phone calls and text messages and through the years. And then their offense coordinator is a guy from Youngstown, Ohio, old Struthers guy, Zetz, who was at Mississippi State. Prior to that, I don't know if it was quality control or graduate assistant. So he's done a great job on offense. They're playing fast. They run a little bit of the triple option out of the, which they really hadn't shown much prior to. So, we obviously had 2 periods on that today, trying to defend that, which, very similar to a Georgia Tech, except, obviously the quarterback's in a gun and the quarterback's not under center. So we've kind of, looked at some of that stuff already and game planned it. But I see an athletic, hungry, aggressive football team that's really athletic. I mean, you look on it, their roster is full of the roster is full of transfers, it seems like they got a slew of kids from Mississippi State when Coach Zetz was there. They got an Ohio State transfer tailback that we've talked to Ohio State, said, shoot, he was the best tailback we had in our freshman year. With Dobbins was there. Sneed was there. I think his last name is Sneed. But he said, they said over there, like we thought he was better than Dobbins. So they're talented all over the place. They've got a lot of skill. Don't let FCS fool you. They're talented, and they won 11 games last year, and made it to the quarterfinals. So it's a good football team.
Pat, what are you seeing? Who's stepping up at cornerback? I know Damari Mathis was announced to be out for the season, but you talked about how AJ Woods had looked good, and what you'd seen from out of Marquez Williams. What have you been seeing them after, especially seeing more scrimmages?
Yeah, both those guys. Quez looks good. Quez had it. I think it was in the scrimmage. The days are starting to run together. But I think maybe even in the video we sent, like Quez had it looked like he was playing offense. He laid out and had a heck of an interception in the scrimmage. A diving catch like a receiver would have. Quez has looked good. AJ Woods, I mean, they both have really grown up, and I'm happy with where they are. The other guy that we've cross-trained even a year ago, he played both, was Eric Hallett. So don't forget about Eric Hallett as a corner. He can be a safety. I mean, we're pretty good at safety with Paris Ford, and DeMar Hamlin's been outstanding as well, and Brandon Hill. So, those are the guys at corner. And I'm going to tell you what, the kid Rashad Battle is physical. He had 2 hits on Saturday that was like, whoa. I'm standing back behind, and we got noise on during the scrimmage, but it was like bang, 2 of them, one on either sideline. It's like he is physical, he's aggressive, and and he doesn't blink an eye. And Javonte Royals the same thing, very athletic. We can see how long this guy's. Unfortunately, you guys haven't really been able to see these guys, live. EJ said he was going to get a camera and let you guys watch it, but he hasn't done that yet. So he's got a couple of days. I guess he's homesick. I guess so. What do you expect? But Javonte Royals a long, tall athlete, and I don't know what they list him as, but he looks like he's 6'2", long legs, really great looking guy. So those guys got a chance to play too. Those guys got a chance to play, and they're not like little freshmen that they kind of looking around like scared. I mean, they're like they act like men already.
You touched on the safeties a little bit there. I mean, I feel like we haven't talked about those guys much at all. Maybe I think everyone just assumes they're going to be really good, but what have you seen from Paris and DeMar this camp? Maybe some things that we haven't seen in the past out of those guys. How are they better?
Well, I mean, they're a year better. I think everybody better get better. I hope you guys are better than you were last year. Although, some people, when they start to get old, they don't get better. They just kind of stay the same. It's kind of worn them out. You guys are supposed to laugh a little bit. Come on. Nobody's laughing except Bostic. Come on, Jerry. It's talking about you. But no, I think they've all gotten better. I'll start with DeMar. I mean, DeMar has really, kind of grown into a leader. We were pushing him a year ago to just be a leader. And I think, I think in the last 2 weeks, it's really hit him. You've had some leadership moments that you really didn't see before, whether it's in a meeting or whether it's on the field before pre-practice. I think he gathered the whole defense up today before the first team period. He just gathered them up. It was kind of like, I hadn't seen that before. So he's really taken that, and to me, that's part of it. I mean, we need leaders, and I've always said this, this is their football team. I'm the head coach. It's their team, and great teams are led by their football team, by their players, not by their coach. If I've got to lead them and walk them around where they need to go, then we've got issues. So, the more leadership we got, and really DeMar has done that. And Paris Ford, again, he's smart, he's athletic, he's aggressive, he's matter of fact, I'm gonna send out a video of him today. We had him mic'd up the other day. He's just he's a different guy, and we've got some new packages in for really both of them. I won't kind of spill the beans on that yet, but they're a year better.
Pat, how was Kenny taken to DJ so far? I mean, you said he got here, I guess, last week, and obviously hasn't practiced until today. But has there been a relationship kind of forming even within that first week?
Yeah, there's no relationship built there at all. Okay, I got to be honest with you. Again, he just got here today. I mean, really, there was no. I mean, he hasn't been in meetings. He couldn't do anything until today. So I introduced him to the team today. So he just got introduced to the team today. He may have walked in the building to see someone or get information for classes or do something, but no one knew who he was. And nor were we allowed to tell anybody. So he got it. He introduced himself to the team today in our team meeting at 8:15, and then he went out and ran around and caught some balls today. So I'm sure they'll watch tape, and he tried to throw one deep ball to him today, and now so he didn't time up well. And first thing Kenny says, I gotta throw to him more. I gotta feel where he's gonna be. So matter of fact, Kenny underthrew him, so he outran the ball, which is a good thing. I'm glad he didn't overthrow him, and DJ couldn't get there. So he really made DJ have to come back to the ball, and the DB had a chance to break it up. But if Kenny would have chucked it up there, it would have been a touchdown. So that's just the beginning. But that won't take long.
After the last scrimmage, you said there was some little tiny attention to detail kind of errors. Were those cleaned up by this past scrimmage? And do you have any concern? I mean, you just got the schedule times. Is it real? Do you have any concerns now, 10 days out?
Yeah, no concerns at all. As far as you're talking game time, you're talking playing the game, Kelly?
Yeah, and just anything that you feel like needs to be buttoned up more and just.
Oh, we have,
Are you just
I mean,
ready to go?
if I had a bucket of buttons right now, that thing would be full. There's everything to work on. I mean, we cleaned up some things in the scrimmage, and then we got some other things we need to clean up. So I mean, it's like it's never ending. It'll be last game of the season, Kelly. We'll be trying to button things up, and there'll be more buttons to fasten. So it never ends, and that's kind of what we do as coaches, just continually trying to fix, adjust, make it better. Adjust it some more, tighten it up. Get it sewn right. The thread starts to loosen up, and we got to tighten it up again on that button. So, so it's just a constant. But we cleaned some things up. I think we look better. That's why we had less plays. And every day I think we get closer and closer. But you know what? There's a lot of things we'll have to fix after the opener as well. Just part of our job. Never ending.
Any final questions before we move on to our student athletes? We'll have Deslin Alexander first, by the way.
You got Deslin and who else? You got Deslin and who else?
Jordan Addison would be following up. He's in the weight room right now, so we'll have the senior go first.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear the music, but my office vibrates when they're in the weight room, so I know someone's down there.
Or should I
In
say
terms of special teams, last season down the stretch, you had some changes at punter. What have you seen from that position so far in camp?
Yeah, Kirk has done an incredible job. Appreciate you asking about the specialist, Ben. You an old specialist?
No,
No?
not exactly.
But Kirk has been really locked in. Matter of fact, it's funny you ask it today. I was trying to mess with him. We had a punt period today, and he's been really locked in. Last year he wasn't locked in like he is this year. I was kind of mad at him last year.
An injury change.
Your mute button was going in and out, Ben, so I heard about half of what you said.
Was that an injury issue last season when Alex Kessman took over punting duties, or was that a performance?
That was a performance. That was me being mad at him. He wasn't very good. He wasn't locked in. He's really locked in today. Matter of fact, he was punting one today, and he had this towel in his back pocket. It looked like he took his mom's dish rag from her kitchen sink and put it in the back. I was like, there's no swag out of that rag at all. And he didn't flinch. He didn't look at me like, what, coach? Usually he would look at me. So he was locked in. I was like, did you hear me? He goes, I heard you, coach. He was just ignoring me. So he's locked in. He's punting as well as I've ever seen him punt. So good question.
And I have a general question about the defense. You've been involved and been around some really great defenses in your career, but great defenses are also made up by some intangible characteristics, not just athletic ability. What do you see from your intangibles from your defense now that makes you think it's going to have a good season?
The first thing is they got confidence. They believe, from the corners to the defensive line. I think there's a belief that they can be as good as they want to be. So that's the first thing. And a year ago going into the season, did they really believe, that they could do what they did? I don't know. But kind of their motto right now, Jerry, is the defensive motto right now is unfinished business. Okay. So that could be one of your questions for Deslin is what does unfinished business mean? But it's unfinished business because, we've still got ways to go. We still want to be better. And, thinking that you arrived, nobody cares what you did a year ago. It's what you do in 2020. And, we've got a lot to prove on both sides of the ball and the special teams. And it's a new year, but they do have confidence. That's the one thing. I think they have confidence in who they are, what they can do. And I think anytime you have confidence, people got to watch out for. Confidence can be deadly. And you know what? If you don't have confidence, it can be fatal.
Okay.
Pat, there was a video that surfaced yesterday with some comments about Matt Canada. I just wanted to see if you had to clarify your relationship with Matt or anything about that.
I heard about that yesterday. I got a text message on it. Matter of fact, I got 2 text messages on it. But Matt Canada, our relationship has never changed. I love Matt Canada. He's an unbelievable offense coordinator, and I'm happy he's with the black and gold next door. Okay, the guy did a tremendous job as our offense coordinator. I didn't want to lose him. That's why we paid him $1 million or tried to pay him $1 million. And everybody's got to make people make decisions. And my point was, I think that was at a clinic. And again, I didn't see the video. I heard about the video, but it sounded like it was at a clinic from what I heard. And I was just, someone may ask the question. I remember how it came. I will roll on. and just kind of tell stories. And to me, it's real stories, just how I feel. And again, it's an opinion. It's an opinion only of just being patient. And I had an NFL player, NFL coach. I'll even tell you who he is. A kid named Frankie Smith, tight ends coach, coached him at Miami, Ohio. Texted me yesterday, and again, it's just it's just whether it's a young guy taking it or anybody can look at it any way you want. Okay. And Frankie Smith texted me yesterday. Great point on the patience and coaching story I read. Enjoyed your point. Hope you're well. Stay healthy. Frank Smith. I don't know if you guys can see that or where the hell the camera is, but everybody wants to twist words around. I love Matt Canada. That guy's awesome. Like I said, the guy's going to find his path one way or another, and he made a heck of a lot of money doing it. I know he wants to be a head coach, and I love Matt. So I don't think anything really further needs to be said. If anybody if Matt took that the wrong way, I sure hope he didn't. I have not talked to him since because he's busy. I'm busy, and in our world, that's it doesn't matter. I think that's about all I've got on that. Good question.
Thank you,
question.
Coach. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Enjoy Deslin.
I was bragging about you. You're a graduate now of this fine institution, communications, right?
Yes. Well, I'm in grad school in MBA now.
Good for you. And Cats. Well, obviously, we're very proud of you for that fact. And I will step out of the way and let these ladies and gentlemen ask you questions because I know they have a lot that they want to talk to you about. So with that, let's open it up for questions for Deslin, please.
Deslin, how has camp gone just for you personally so far? Kind of getting back into the swing of things here.
I think camp's going well. I was worried about, missing a spring ball. Spring ball, it gives time to get better, work on a lot of fun little things. But jump right back in the swing. Guys are really excited. It's a blessing to be able to play, at these times. And just being able to take advantage of every opportunity we have is great.
And Deslin, I was looking at one of those. I'm sorry, Joe. You wanted to follow up? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry.
Thanks. Deslin, I was looking at one of those preseason All ACC teams, and I noticed you were listed as a guy under the radar at D tackle. And I was wondering where you're getting most of your snaps these days, D tackle or D end.
Right now, I'm still playing in. I think Coach messed around. Putting me in there, in case guys get nicked up, just being ready for any situation we may come across. We're in unprecedented times right now. So anything go wrong or, somebody go down or something, I'll be ready to play whatever position coach needs me to play.
Most of your time's at end then, right?
Correct.
What's that group like, Deslin, right now? I mean, obviously Rashad is back there and, Patrick returned. I mean, and you guys got Haba, John. It's just a lot of depth at that position. What's it been like just being in the room with all those guys and, kind of going through film and getting out and getting on field?
Yeah, I think that group's competitive, man. There's so much you can learn from. Every guy brings something particular to the group, whether it's knowledge, something they see. I think we pride ourselves in coaching each other. Even on the sideline, I do something wrong. The next guy is quick, to coach me, help me better myself. With Weave and Camp coming back brings a lot of leadership. A lot of older guys who's played a lot of ball, and that their leadership is definitely felt out there.
Deslin, does it feel like it's a week away from a game?
That's funny. Every time I look at the clock, and I can't believe it. I'm just so grateful. Thank God for the opportunity that we get a chance to play football, and a lot of people can't say that. We're just blessed as a team to be able to, be in a position to still play.
Deslin, you talked about the depth and the guys getting all that experience the guys got last year. Does that allow you to do anything differently as you come into camp? It's not like you're teaching anybody the ropes here, really.
Well, for me personally, it just gives me an opportunity, seeing what I was able to do out there last year. Give me something to work on as far as technique, things where I can make the next step. And that's the same thing for a lot of guys who's played, get a chance to watch the film, see things they, in off season, guys work so hard every day, doing extra. Just being able to clean up some of the things from last year and implement new things this year.
Deslin, obviously you guys have a lot of physical attributes that help you on the field, but I'm interested in some of the intangible things that make you think this defense might be good this year.
Just a little fact of guys coming in early, guys hungry, guys just wanting to learn. Even our young guys are so hungry. It's great to see what our D-line has done, but as a whole, everyone holding each other accountable, just coming in early and continuing to work to get better.
Deslin, what's in?
Backing off.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I'm sorry. I interrupt you every time. I'm sorry. I was going to piggyback off of Jerry. I mean, you see this defense. I mean, it is being touted as being pretty good. Tell us what you see. Are you going to live up to the hype, or what do you think?
Definitely. Just off the solely the work. I think the guys are putting in the work every day with film, with work on the field. Guys being nitpicky about little details. I think little details is what stick out to me most. Little details is what takes you from good to great. And I think a lot of guys are focusing on that. Guys are coaching that on the field, and I think we definitely live up to the hype that we have this year. Well deserved.
Deslin, what are kind of your thoughts on the defensive tackle position? Without Jalen in there, obviously Keyshawn coming back, he got hurt last year, and then Devin, Tyler, there's just a lot of guys in that group. What have you kind of seen?
I think we got a solid group of guys who work hard, who come with the business mindset every day, guys who want to get better. So, losing Jalen is big, but, I think a lot of guys are up for, to make that next step, to be the next guy. We got a lot of talented guys in that room.
Deslin, you talked about how you've been working on, being part of the defensive tackle rotation, just learning it in case someone goes down. With Jalen being gone, you got people stepping in the role, and you got a bunch of younger guys figuring out who have you kind of been working with to kind of make sure that your game, you're integrating some more of the moves and techniques that you need to know to be efficient at that position.
Everyone, honestly, everyone coaches me, everyone helps me personally. But as a group, even within practice, some little minor details, even younger guys are in there, quick to coach me up, which I think that sets us apart as a group.
Deslin, not only with Jalen opting out, but obviously Damari hurt and lost for the season as well. So there are going to be guys who have to step up in those positions to fill starters' roles. You had to do that last year when Rashad went down. What was that looking back? A year from that, or a year back. What was that experience like for you, and kind of growing in that being thrusted in that role and growing through it? And any advice you're giving some of those guys who might have to do the same this year in those two spots?
Well, it was one of those experiences you didn't expect it, but you prepare every day like you're a starter, whether you are or not. And I think that's something our coaches coach, and that's a mindset I have personally. So to the next guy, whether it's whatever rep you go, you try to give your best, go hard as possible, and when you prepare like that, being that next guy mentality it makes it for itself, when the next guy comes up.
Questions for Jordan, please.
Jordan, what has camp been like for you so far? Obviously, you got in for a little abbreviated spring camp before that was shut down, and then the July walkthroughs as well, I'm sure kind of helped. But what has camp been like for you?
It's been great to be back. It was my first camp, so I was just trying to enjoy it and learn from the older guys while I was out there. I think it's been pretty fun so far.
How big were those kind of that walkthrough period that you guys got? I think it was in July that they allowed kind of coaches come in. You guys were able to maybe learn the playbook a little bit more. Did that help with you?
The walkthrough period, those helped a lot because I got a chance to focus on the little things, the little details where I lined at, and it just helped me put everything together.
Jordan, Coach Narduzzi was asked the other day to compare you to another receiver, and he used Antonio Brown. What do you think of comparisons, and what do you think your game is like?
I think that's great, but, I just try to, stay humble and just focus on myself. I think the comparison and everything is good, but, I just keep working.
Jordan, Coach Narduzzi said that that you've already worked in as a starter in the slot receiver position. As a freshman, what are you leaning on the most as far as your skill set? Things that you thought that you can depend on the most in your game that you know you can make the best plays with.
I'll say my speed. I'll say I'll depend on that the most.
Jordan, how have you gone about in this different, and I know it's the only camp that you've known, but trying to build a relationship with Kenny Pickett?
Just talking to him about everything, like routes, details, and we just try to get on the same page. Talk to him before practice, after practice, where he want me to be at, so we can just start clicking.
Is he very receptive to that stuff? Is he good about leading in those areas?
Yes, he's a great leader.
Jordan, Pat said you were playing in the slot a good bit. How much was that something that you'd done before? How much of that was new to you?
I've done a little bit before in high school. I played outside and slot. I feel like the slot fits me better. I can create matchups on like linebackers, and I can, get in open space.
Jordan, what's it been like, working with Chris Beatty on a daily basis after, going through a recruiting process and really getting to know him in that way? Now you're on the field with him every day and getting to learn from him kind of hands-on. What's that been like?
It's been pretty good. Everything has been smooth. Everything he told me in the recruiting process, he stuck with his word, so I can trust him. So our relationship just kept building up.
How important is that for you as a freshman coming in here that, you're looking at playing time now, that trust factor with your position coach so early on? How important is that to you?
I feel like that's really important because, not many freshmen get to play. So I feel like the relationship part is a big thing. So I have to be able to trust him, and wherever he tell me to go line up, I want to be able to trust him. I can go line up there and make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Jordan, what is your comfort level right now with the physical aspect of college football, learning the playbook, and just becoming a guy who can contribute this year, in a college football ACC setting?
When I first came in, I was a little, worried. But over time, the guys took me in, so now I'm a little bit more comfortable. And coming in early, it helped me with the playbook and everything. So I think everything's going well now.
What were you worried about at the outset?
Can you say that again, please?
What were you worried about at the outset?
Picking up the
beginning when
plays,
you first arrived.
picking up the plays, the playbook, knowing where to line up, and the speed of the game, adjusting to the speed.
Jordan, all that being said, how much have you thought about what it's going to be like next Saturday?
I'm just looking forward to it,
Is it starting to feel real? We're less than 2 weeks out now.
Yeah, I'm excited. A little bit nervous too, but I'm ready to go.
Talk about that wide receiver room, about the older guys who are teaching you and guiding you, and the relationships that you guys all have in that room.
I feel like a relationship with the receivers is getting a step closer. We're the young guys learning from the older guys, and the older guys are starting to learn from the young guys. So I think everything is we're going to excite some people out there.
Jordan, are you familiar at all with DJ Turner? I know he played at DeMatha, and now he comes in, as former Maryland receiver. Are you familiar with him at all?
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. I remember DJ Turner. I was about in 8th grade. I used to watch his high school highlights at DeMatha. So it's just it's a great feeling to be playing beside him. And we got to see him practice today, and it looked pretty smooth. So he's going to be great out there.
Did you tell him that? Did you tell him, hey, I used to watch you when I was in 8th grade, or what?
No, I ain't get to tell him yet, but eventually I will.
What were those high school highlights like that he put up that you were able to watch?
Electric. You guys are electric. I'm going to learn from him. Hopefully he learn from me.
Just want to hear about how the freshman DBs that you're going up against are looking this year.
I'll say the freshman DBs are looking really sharp. Footwork, they're adapting to they're adapting to the defense pretty well, and they getting the iron sharp as iron. So we're getting them better, and they're getting us better. Anybody
over there on that side of the ball that you've maybe gotten into a little rivalry with or anything like that?
Not freshman wise, no.
How about otherwise?
I'll say Paris Ford. He definitely got a little something going on in practice. He give me a couple plays, and I'll get him a couple plays.
What's it like going up against a guy like that maybe could have been in the NFL this year?
Going up against a guy like that, I have to come out 110% every day because I always know on his side of the ball he's gonna be sharp. So I got to make sure I got it going on my side.
Can you talk with Harris? Can you talk the way he talks on the field?
Nah, that's not in my game.
You're a quiet guy on the field?
Yeah, I try to lead by example. I'll make a play first, then I'll talk.
What's the relationship kind of been like with Kenny? Going from the few spring practices that you guys had to now. What would you say is kind of the biggest difference there?
From the spring to now, I feel like we got a little bit closer because I started talking to him more. When I first got in, I was kind of a quiet guy, but now I feel like we're building something special.
You say you guys are talking more. Did he have to pull that out of you? Did you say, all right, I just got to put myself out there a little bit more? Was it Coach Beatty who said, hey, go get with Kenny and start talking to him? Like what kind of, brought that out a little bit?
I just started putting myself out there a little bit more because I started getting comfortable with the formations and everything. Like I just started getting comfortable here. So it made it easier for us to talk.
Okay. Jordan, thank you very much for the time. Thanks for jumping back on with us for a few extra questions as well. Well done.
No doubt. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for going the long road with us today. From 12:30 to almost 2 o'clock. Much appreciation. We'll be back at you on what we have going on for the rest of the week and certainly a preview of next week as well. Stay well.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jay. Feel better.